Any good website needs links, and links are what make up the internet. So linking between different web pages helps build the actual spider webbing of the internet itself and making all of those wonderful connections between the pages. And what the bots do when they travel through web pages, they take a look at links to find additional pathways to more pages. Making your website crawlable is important. So when you are creating your website, think about navigation, and also think about breadcrumbs. So if you have a really big website, it's always a good idea to include some breadcrumbs so the users can get back to where they originally originated from. And then when it comes to search boxes, this is something to consider when you are creating a website. So a lot of websites, just like this one here that I'm looking at, so the WordPress, it'll have a search box, and then I can type in something, and maybe this is how I want my users to find a particular website. So it's just going to be this test page. So if I did actually have a test page, and if I don't have it linked anywhere else, the spiders are actually going to have a hard time getting to that page. Keep in mind that these search boxes, even though as a human coming in, I can use a search box to find the content, the spiders aren't going to be able to render out content. They're not going to know what you want typed in within the search. So if you do want to link to this web page, then make sure that you supply a link within your website. So you do have all of that proper navigation through your site and that site structure. So I just flipped over to Wikipedia just to give you a better example of what breadcrumbs are. So if you're starting at your home page, whatever the section is, subsection, you always have a way to get back to where you came from, so getting back to the home page. So over here we've got a longer set of breadcrumbs, and essentially it's the path that you're using to get to the page, and always try to make sure that we can get back to that original source page. So there's some other visual examples there of breadcrumbs. And then besides navigation bar, besides having links within the page, besides having the breadcrumbs, also links within the page. So any text links within the page will link to other parts of the website. So over here we're linking over to these categories here, the category pages. So those are additional ways that bots can index and navigate through your website. And here on Bootstrap, perhaps we have a better sample of what breadcrumbs are. So it's just, again, these links back. And then for navigation, so there's some options here for navigation bars, and we also have items like drop downs. So keep in mind that you want to keep your drop downs as actual links. So you want to try to avoid having too much JavaScript. You can have JavaScript controlling the way that the drop-down functions, but try to avoid having it all as JavaScript generated links. A lot of times when we create these drop-downs, we just generate them within JavaScript, and we do want to try to avoid that. And then this, of course, this is a good example of a navigation bar with all the different options. So we've got our drop down, we've got our search, we've got another drop down, and we've got some simple links again. And then always going back to the home page, the initial page where we started off, so we always have that link back to the main page.